What's up? This is The View from Legacy of You comic book series, and this is Chillin the Green Box. And on today's episode, we got a guest that probably got you, I guess, on your show, that probably did some work for you on your project, or you've heard about his book, or at one time you heard his podcast. Man and many things, Jeffrey Haas, and he's on the show today, talking about his new book, part 2 of his new book, Terminus, on the show. We've been trying to get him on the show for the longest, and he's finally on. And Specks going to interview him. It's going to be a great show. So stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff too. And you know what? We're going to chill out. Go ahead, Specks. Take it over.
Welcome back to the hood. This is Chill in the Green Box with Specks, Thompson, and The View. And today we got a guest. We've been talking for, maybe a year and a half. Now, about this whole podcast thing, and I think he really originally supposed to be one of my first couple guests, but stuff happened, and so I caught him on season 2. I got Jeff Haas, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right. Thanks for coming on. And for people who don't know who you are, give them a little brief introduction of who you are and what you do.
All right. Like I said, my name is Jeff Haas. I'm a writer, podcaster, publicist. So I do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm the writer of The End of All Terminus and also Malik Reigning Devil. I'm the host of the Traverse the Stars podcast. And I'm a publicist to some indie comic book people who are probably been on your show a few times.
Okay. So I didn't even know you was a writer till you got this interview. But I knew about your podcast and the publishing and stuff like that, but I did not know you was a writer. And I did not know you had multiple books. So
no worries.
So we definitely dive in that later on. I'm not sure where you're from, but are you familiar with the electrical green box in front of the neighborhoods?
Not especially, no.
So I guess it's like a regional thing. So some neighborhoods, they got this small green electrical box. It's small enough for you to. Some people do flips off of it, or some people just sit on there and hang out, with friends. And I built this podcast around that same idea. Just chilling, hanging out, talking. Because I've been on plenty of podcasts where, a creator will get on for 2 hours and talk about whatever they're doing, and nobody knows anything about them or why to support them. So I created my show so we know more about the creator to give us a reason why to support them and whatnot.
All right, very cool. I appreciate support.
Yep. But so with that being said, my show's based on 4 different segments, all based around the same concept. And the first one is called Breaking It Down. Because when you chill in that green box, you break ideas, concepts, and other things down with friends. So I can break your brain down with a couple of icebreaker questions.
Okay.
All right. So, are you a live action person or animated? Movie wise or TV show wise?
Both. I'm a old nerd. I'll still sit and watch my Batman animated cartoons at the age of 44. I have watched Transformers, the movie, original cartoon, way up more often than I probably should at my age. I love cartoons. But live action, a good movie is a good movie, regardless if it's animated or live action. If it's well written, it's a good movie.
Okay. Speaking of Transformers, did you catch the new trailer?
I did. Oh, Transformers 1 you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I'm still used to hearing Peter Cullen's voice in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not Peter Cullen. I'm not sure exactly what to make of it yet. But it's got to be better than the Bay movies.
Yeah.
I imagine.
I'm willing to see where they make Optimus a jerk again. And looking at the trailer, they did not show Megatron's transformation, so I'm waiting to see what that would be.
I imagine he's not going to be a gun. I think that's like a mistake they made probably in the old days of Transformers. I imagine it'll be some sort of tank or cannon, sort of like Galvatron.
Okay.
That'd be my guess.
Well, I thought Galvatron was a plane.
Galvatron was a cannon. If you watch the original 1986 movie, he's a cannon. His planes were Cyclonus, Scourge, and the Sweeps.
Okay. All right. So what is your ideal lunch?
My ideal lunch? Sushi. I'm a sushi. I love sushi. Sushi is the very best. If I had the money to keep buying sushi, I totally would. But unfortunately, that'd probably break me financially. But I absolutely love sushi.
In my job, they got a sushi thing and they prepare sushi. Um,
Really?
I never cared for sushi. Like, I think now I'm being around sushi. I think my friends tricked me, but they gave me some sushi like when I got out of high school, and like it's chicken sushi, not fish, and I ate it thinking it was chicken. But now that I know better, it's probably who was fish.
It took me 3 chances to get into sushi. The first 2 times, I don't think I was a big fan of it, but of course it was a girl who was trying to get me to eat it. So, I'm going to eat sushi, because the girl told me to. But by the 3rd time she got me to do it, I got hooked. So you got to eat it at least 3 times to get your palate mentally ready for it.
Yeah, I can do most of it. I can't do the like the with the steel skin on the fish. I can't think of the name of it now. But it's sometimes it'd be shrimp or salmon. They got the strip of salmon across of it. Nah, that's
the sashimi.
Maybe so. Trying to get that.
Sashimi is the kind where it's just the meat. Now that you don't get the rice and the seaweed attached.
Yeah.
No
eel
also has the skin attached, but eel's the very best.
Okay, I haven't had eel yet.
It's cooked. It's one of the only sushis that's cooked. So if you want raw, if you like sushi but you don't eat something raw, eel.
Okay. I've been doing with salmon, trout, tuna.
Mm.
I don't know what else I had, but yeah, that was the main one. Shrimp, and those shrimp was in there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Salmon. I like salmon. I'm an old lox and bagel guy too, so salmon's really good. So you can't. It's hard to go wrong with sushi. There've been very few things. I think quail eggs is the only thing I couldn't handle for sushi.
Okay. All right, last question. When we're going on a road trip, what is 2 items that you make sure you have?
2 items on a road trip. A credit card. That's I'm gonna be buying some shit. No, 2 things would be I gotta bring my iPhone at this point because my entire life now is on my iPhone.
Even your credit card.
Stuff in my phone, my video games, YouTube. I have way too much phone stuff now, so probably my phone would have to be one of them, and my wife is coming with. So yes, I'm gonna throw in that I'm taking my wife with me. In case she's listening.
Okay. I see what you did there. Moving to my next segment. Hopefully everybody got a good feel who you is from that. But now we can go to a term that you're more familiar with. It's called the back issues. If you trying to learn a character, you read their origin story, you read their back issues. So this segment, we're going to your back issues to find out more about your origin story. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, where are you from and what do you call your hood?
Most of my life in Rhode Island. So mostly born in Rhode Island, though I was born in Baltimore. Lived a little bit in South Carolina, a little bit in Costa Rica, a little bit in South Carolina. So yeah, I've been mostly Warwick, Rhode Island. That's been my home for the most part. It's kind of, if you don't know anything about Rhode Island, we're kind of a suburb of Massachusetts for the most part. We're the smallest state, but that's really all we can be proud of. This Rhode
yeah, I've been there twice, and I can tell you I don't remember nothing. I don't remember nothing. It was really nothing special. Like maybe a nice hotel. That was about it.
Yeah, that's basically the Rhode Island experience. I lived here. I don't remember much at this point. We had a couple of things to be proud of. We have the big blue bug. It's the biggest bug in the entire world. Last time I checked, it's not a real bug, but it's
okay. I'm about to say, somebody need to kill it.
They watch Dumb and Dumber. They drive past New England Pest Control. There's a big blue bug on top of the building.
Yeah,
we almost had that on our state quarter. We're so proud of it, but they had some legal issues with that, so we didn't do it. But yeah, that's how sad our state is. We almost made a big blue bug our state quarter.
Now, isn't your state where everybody wants to start a business at because it's like a tax thing, tax break or something?
We almost lost. We do have Hasbro is Rhode Island, Pawtucket, but we almost lost them recently. But our big claim of fame for business is Hasbro.
All right. Well, they're losing money themselves because apparently they're having trouble.
I would love to work for Hasbro. For people who don't know Hasbro, that's G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Power Rangers too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did they own the Power Rangers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Power Rangers are in my home state then. All right. Fantastic.
Yeah, they yeah, Power Rangers, yeah. Even though they just like the first 3 seasons of Power Rangers, but you know. Are you you listen to music?
I'm a music fan, yes.
What artist or a song got you liking a certain genre or got you into music in general?
I don't know. It wasn't necessarily a song. Well, there's a lot. I mean, I'm a kid of the. I was born in 1980, so I have the 80s and the 90s. Kind of like I kind of was there for both of it. You know, growing up as a young kid, I got sucked into alternative rock. You know, Nirvana, Pearl Jam. I mean, that kind of got me into music for a while. Then I started watching a TV show called Supernatural. Anyone, do you know Supernatural? I don't know.
Yeah. I love that show.
Yeah, Supernatural got me sucked into classic rock. So then I started listening to all classic rock music because of Supernatural.
That Wayward song, huh?
Oh, you know, Carry On My Wayward Son. You know what I'm saying? That's a good song. And Bad Moon Rising. Trust Bad Moon Rising, great song to play on the way to work because you know it's coming. So Bad Moon Rising on the way to work. And then like right now, the band I've started listening to most recently is called Future Islands. I'm actually going to the concert in June. But Future Islands is kind of like a alt kind of rock band sort of, and they're really good. So if you want to try to listen to some new music, not overly heavy, Future Islands.
Okay. All right. Going to comic books. What comic book or comic related TV show got you into comics?
I've been buying comic books for a long time. I'm a 35-year comic book veteran of reading it. I've been reading it a long time. My earliest memory of comic books is a issue of Justice League of America written by Jerry Conway. I think it's maybe number 213. I don't know. It's on my wall somewhere. If you see behind me, those are autographed comic books back there. My whole house is wallpapered with autographs. And back there are some of my autographs. One is Justice League of America. It's an image of the red tornado flying towards a helicopter. Something that got burned in my memory. Then it was Batman, and eventually it was Green Lantern. And I am the proud owner of every single Green Lantern that's ever been made since 1960.
Really?
Yeah, I have every regular issue, spin-off issue, miniseries, one-shot, annual, event comic, anything that's been connected to Green Lantern directly. I have every single one since the very his second appearance in Showcase in 1960.
Wow. Let me see. Did I just recently get a Green Lantern book? It's probably not even over here.
Well, there's War Journal and then there's Green Lantern in there.
No, I mean, it was a facsimile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I believe it's I don't know if it's his first appearance or what. I'm not sure what the comic is. It's because 2 facsimiles came out, but I'm pretty sure his first appearance was not a self-titled book.
Oh, it was his first appearance was at Showcase number 22, around 1960, and then he did 20. Then he was in 21 and 22, or was it 21, 22, 23? It's one of those 3. I don't have the first appearance ever. I don't have that one, but I have the second and the third. And then when the regular issue of Green Lantern started, Green Lantern number 1, from that point forward, if Green Lantern was part of the universe of Green Lantern, like Sinestro, Larfleeze, all those, I have every single one from that point forward.
All right, what's your favorite? What's your favorite Lantern?
Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner is my favorite.
Okay, that's mine too. That's mine.
I started with Hal Jordan, but Kyle Rayner to me was the one that really kind of sucked me in for good for Green Lantern because I don't know, it's sort of like almost like a Spider-Man meets Green Lantern, and it was fun watching him evolve into a character. Ron Mars did a great job with the character. Ron Mars and can't remember the name of the artist, which sucks that he's been on my show. But whoever the name of the artist, Darryl Banks. Darryl Banks.
Okay.
And Ron Mars were brilliant.
Okay. My only gripe about Kyle is they put him on the Titans. You know, I like Teen Titans or Titans, whatever.
Yeah.
And they just forgot about the whole team. Then you didn't see him again until they rescued him from jail recently.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyle Rayner, I don't know really why he was on that team. He wasn't really ever a team. I don't know what the deal was with that, but I mean, it was good. I mean, same thing with was it Omega, something Omega Flight or something? Or he was in that miniseries as well. I can't remember. It was the one with Lobo.
Mm.
He's been a few things. They're trying to find a home for Kyle once they brought Hal Jordan back. But I think Kyle's better than Hal Jordan. I mean, come on, he saved the Green Lantern Corps. He's a much better character. But Hal Jordan's easier to sell, so that's why they do it.
That they say because it's people think of, but like just being in the comic book groups, it seems like everybody but him. Like even Guy Gardner got fans.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Hal Jordan, for the longest time, Hal Jordan was very two-dimensional. You know, he was the standard DC hero. He was always right. He always did the good thing, and he was never really given much of a, he didn't really have any real tragic flaw to his character. He kind of was just like good, and I mean that's good for a while. But I think as people wanted more complexity in their characters, they never quite let Hal Jordan pitch up to the complexity.
Okay. Until he like murdered the whole planet and city and stuff.
Oddly enough, that's really the most interesting thing he's ever done. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love Hal Jordan. I have so many Hal Jordan comics, but for the most part, the most interesting thing he's ever done was become a villain. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's what was it called Emerald Twilight? Was that
Emerald Twilight? Yeah, Emerald Twilight.
That's the only thing people know.
Well, like I said, that's when he was at his most interesting. Of course, it was when he was also a villain. But how many heroes have ever been turned into a villain like that? Especially at that level of stature. And it was, they were some good comics. I read them so many times. They're on my wall. I got them autographed by Ron Mars, and they're on my wall in my bedroom. They're up there. So yeah, I've been a big fan of those. But Kyle Rayner was always made better. He's also autographed and on my wall, stuff like that too. So
okay.
It's a very healthy collection of Green Lantern and autographs from Green Lantern.
Okay. So saying you've been a 35-year comic book reader and you have every Green Lantern book. When did you find out you was a nerd?
When I was a nerd?
Yeah.
Man, I'm sure when I was born, my father probably just looked down and was like, "Damn, you're a nerd." And I just got happy. I mean, I've been a hardcore nerd for a long time. I mean, I have a very healthy collection of He-Man toys still.
Okay.
As an adult, they're on my curio cabinet. I have them all set up. Then sucked into G.I. Joe and superheroes and Star Wars toys and all that stuff. I've been a nerd for a long time. My parents are a bit of a nerd. My dad was a Star Trek nerd and comic book nerd growing up. So I'm genetically a nerd. I had no hope really.
Yeah,
I really didn't have
hereditary.
much of a shot.
Okay. All right. That's all I got for this segment. Gonna move on to my next segment. It's called the hotkeys. It's a double meaning term. In comics, it's key issues when an artist, writer get on board. You want to collect or a new character get introduced or a storyline. Because nowadays, they get turned to a TV show or movie. You want to collect, be worth some money. As well as music, it's keys or a button on a turntable that a producer or a DJ or press to get everybody turned up or live in the event. So this part of the show is the meat, get everybody excited about what you do and learn what you do and whatnot. So with that being said, writing. When did you start? When did you become a writer?
Long time ago in Galaxy before far away. No, my father was a writer as well. He would write screenplays and novel, and I used to watch him write at the computer, and it just kind of got into me watching him write and thinking, for some reason that just fascinated me, watching someone write. And so probably my earliest writing, it's probably down to almost first, second, third grades. I would write little short stories. I would actually write comic books, though I didn't really know what I was doing. So I'm a horrible artist too. I mean, I'm an atrocious artist. So each page would be like one panel. Started with like one panel of a superhero I created, which was a lame one. I think that was his name. I think it was Mr. Slime, and Mr. Slime would be every page would be him shooting a villain with his slime ball, and there was no story attached to it. It just was a thing. And over time, I would create like a minor story. And then it just kind of escalated to try and write things more complicated, more complex, until, high school I was writing full-fledged short stories. And then when I was in my 20s, I wanted to be a comic book writer. And there was a comic book company called CrossGen. Do you know CrossGen Comics?
No.
It's such a shame. Genius comic book. They were some of the best comic books I've ever read. I actually quit DC and Marvel, except for Green Lantern, to buy all cross-gen comics for a little while.
Wow.
And they were one of the few companies back in the day that would accept submissions from a writer without an artist attached. Now, for anyone who's a writer should know how big of a deal that is. Nowadays there's no company that will accept a script from a writer if there's no artist attached. They want the
See,
artwork.
I didn't know that. I thought they used. So I talked to a guest. I don't know if I aired the episode or not, but he said he only can recommend. He can't bring somebody.
Yeah. The thing with nowadays in the world of comic book writing, Dark Horse used to accept some scripts. I don't think they do anymore. Most, if you look at the submission page, will say they want a full comic book. They will not accept a script, just without artwork attached. Often they will not accept the script either because they don't want to deal with potential lawsuits. The character comes out similar, something they created at some point. But for the most part, comic book companies will not accept writing without an artist. And artists are expensive. And I didn't have the money because I was 20 and I had a shitty ass job. But I wanted to do it. So when Crushing came out and I love the company, and I saw they were accepting submissions, I wanted to submit. And I submitted. I mean, I wrote the damn story. I was very proud of myself. And right when I was ready to submit, they announced they were going out of business.
Oh, man.
So I sat here with a comic book script that I had wrote and was very proud of. So I decided to tweak it to make it something that I could sell as my own without connecting it to CrossGen. Because obviously at that point, there was no point of connecting to CrossGen because their company is going to go under. Now owned by Marvel, which is apparently worthless. But they're owned by Marvel Comics now. So I decided to write, and eventually the comic book became known as Sanctus, which is published through, what the fuck's the name of the comic? I can't remember the name of the company, which doesn't matter because they sucked anyway. Because it was a company called Sanctus, which was, the cover was actually drawn by the artist who later did The Walking Dead.
Okay.
And so you can get it on Amazon. It's called Sanctus. It's a graphic novel, 88 pages. But it's there, and that was my first comic book. And from there came The Nightmare Patrol, which I wrote with my father. Then came Santa Claus. And then came Malik Running Devil, and now The End of All Terminus.
Okay. So how did your dad feel about you taking up the mantle, being a writer as well?
Oh, I think I imagine he's proud of it. He liked, I did actually write the Night Patrol with him, which was pretty cool. Still, for future issues coming out of that too at some point. I'm pretty sure he's proud of it, of the job I'm doing. I mean, he's often my editor, and he tells me what to do and what to fix, and when something's good and when something's not, and I trust him. So it's good to have someone who's your editor who's also your family, because you can trust them.
Okay.
And they're free.
Yeah.
The important part, they edit for free. I don't have to actually pay anybody.
Writing wise, you never did anything for Dark Horse or Image or anything like that?
I wish.
Okay.
Trust me, it's not from the lack of trying.
Okay. So you got a book, on Kickstarter now. What that issue? Well, volume 3. What is that?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. So when did you start that project?
Probably started almost 2 years ago. The first issue fully funded in, I think, March of last year, and this is the second issue that I'm trying to fund as well. It is fully funded so far, but obviously it needs more backing because comic books are hard. And the more backers you have, the more support you have. And, the more support you have means you can move forward with issue 3, issue 4, so something like that because, you have support. So the more support there is, the more likely I can move on to the third issue. Second issue, like I said, is funded, but we're looking for stretch goals. And like I said, we're on, this is the second, about 2 years of trying to get this series made.
Okay. So what is it about? What is the name of it? What is it about?
The name of the book is The End of All Terminus. Basically, it's kind of convoluted, but so we'll try to break it down as much as possible. If you know anything about astrophysics, there's 2 forces of nature that seem to be controlling the movement of galaxies. One is called dark energy, one is called dark matter. Dark matter is what's pulling the universe closer together, tighter together. Dark energy is what's pulling it apart. Right now, they're in a decent balance, but that is the reason why the galaxies are moving quicker and quicker away from each other, further and further, faster and faster. The idea being thought is that at some point, dark energy becomes stronger than dark matter, and everything will be ripped apart, including the very atoms and the energy that all atoms have will eventually be pulled into this nothing, what they call the big sleep. My story comes up with the idea that they call, which I'm calling the big rip. The universe is being torn apart. Everything's being destroyed. And the last 7 sentient species on the universe join together on a ship called the Terminus with the idea that the only way to save themselves is to find their way out of the universe. It's not overly accepted that there's a boundary to the universe, but there's some thought that potentially there's something outside our universe, potentially multiverse or some other things as well. And the idea is that the 7 sentient species are going to take the Terminus and try to go beyond the borders of the universe. So there's a finite size to the universe. Try to get out. And then the question is, will they kill each other on the way? What's going to happen? These 7 sentient species do not like each other. They all view each other as being the superior species, form of life. And the goal is there's 100,000 people on the Terminus, or species, not species, sentient beings on the Terminus. By the end of the story, we're going to end up with about 20 left. So I'm going to be killing, hopefully, 99,900 and, 80 people on the before I make it to the end. But it's action, it's sci-fi, it's a good thought-provoking comic book, big ideas. I think it's unique in how it's the story that it's being told. The species all reflect some aspects of humanity. And there's enough pseudoscience to make it interesting, but not so, but I mean, obviously you gotta give it some suspension of disbelief. I mean, does the universe really have an end? Who knows? But the point is, it's more interesting than it does. And so the story is being told that way. And it's a fun sci-fi action, Star Trek meets Alien type of comic.
Okay. So I was going to ask you, is there any a pun or a play on the name of the ship to your book? But as you stated, yes, it is a...
The ship is, in fact, the Terminus, which does mean the end. And so it's both the point of making it to the end of the universe, but also it's a bit of a pun on the idea that most of them are going to die. So
okay.
It's the Terminus.
This your first sci-fi book?
It's my I mean, it's my first sci-fi book. Everything else has been usually in the action horror genre, sometimes superhero genre. This is my first attempt at science fiction, which it's a lot to try to take in because sci-fi is hard, world building's hard. But so far I'm like, I mean, it's my own story, so I'm biased as hell, obviously. I mean, but I think it's a good story, and I think I'm objective enough to say that I think it's a well done story, but I'm also biased as hell because it's my baby and I like it.
So you got 1 and 2 out now, or coming out. How far are you planning to go with it?
Hopefully I can make it to 15.
15. Oh, okay.
15
So with 3 volumes?
Yeah. The first 2 issues, like I said, 2 are finished. Issue 3 is written. 3, 4, and 5 are kind of explore the backstory a little bit. So that would all exist as a unit because the second issue ends with a major death that leads into 3, 4, and 5. 5 some kind of introduces like what you would call maybe the prologue of the series, and then from here forward gets to dive into more of the action.
Okay. Why did you chose to go through Kickstarter?
Probably the same reason most people do. Money. The nice thing about Kickstarter is that it's a good way to reach a bunch of people to help you complete a book. It's hard to sell a book by yourself. All right. It's hard because it's hard to send. You have to get to the stores. It's hard to find a distributor. It's hard to have the money to print a book by yourself, especially many copies of a book. Kickstarter, like I said, there's an audience there. You sold this many books, and you only got to print this many books. You can complete the comic book because it's already been paid for. People have bought it. Kickstarter is a great way to get the help you need to finish what you want. Assuming you can find the backers to do so.
Okay. I assume like you was 20 and you was pitching the book. They got pick up. You talking earlier. You went straight from writing a book to a publisher. So you never had to hustle the book by yourself?
No. The first book I did definitely had the publisher, but also being equal, one lesson I learned by having a publisher was that they rip you off horribly. The experience I had with the publisher was not good. They virtually ripped me off, in my opinion, quite a bit, and they did. I did not pay attention to the contract, unfortunately, or at least, at very least, when I first read the contract, I didn't quite understand magnitude of what it was all going into. Primarily that I kind of apparently sold the rights to my comic book
Dang.
when I sold it to the company, which is one of the reasons why I have not been able to finish that comic book, because whatever I do would have to go directly to them, and they never pay me the first time around for the most part. So I don't. I learned indie publishing is not either got to be do it by yourself, or you got to go to a company large enough that's actually going to be of some value. The little publishing companies that are like 0.005% of the industry are a waste of your time. All they're doing is taking money out of your pocket.
No, okay. I was thinking,
That's my opinion.
I see a lot of creators now. They go to, I guess, the little companies just so they can get in a previews book or a diamond or whatever. And but was it my podcast? No, somebody podcast. Somebody said, yeah, you get on diamond or whatever, but it still takes somebody to know who you are and what to look for to order your book to get into comic book shops. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many stories of so there's tiers of companies, right? You got DC and Marvel at the top, maybe Image and Dark Horse is your next level. Below that you have your IDW. Below that you have like your Mad Cave, your Boom, Mad Cave. Maybe I'm not sure if Dynamite, maybe Source Point Press, maybe it's on the the next level below that. But basically, once you get below the Mad Cave, Dynamite, Boom, a couple of the others I can't think of off the top of my head. Valiant maybe now is at that small level.
I forgot about him.
A few others. What the hell's the name of the one that did? They always do those like fantasy Grimm stories, Brothers Grimm stories. Can't remember the name of their company.
Man, yeah, I can't. Yeah.
I think it's like a Z maybe. Can't remember. Once you get below that level, you might as well do it by yourself. It's nice to have a name, nice to patch up on the back, like, hey, I got published by so and so. But quite often, what you're going to get is ripped off. They're not going to. They're going to take a percentage of the profit of your book, but they will never actually make a profit. If you know what I'm saying. They'll be like, no matter how much money or how many books you sell, you still will never have made a profit, so you never will get like a penny of it. You'll get all you can. Basically, it's a way to say my name is on a published book, and it's nice. I mean, it's marketable on some level, but I've not had a good experience at that level, and I would say, try to stay like Mad Cave and up if you can.
Okay. Speaking of publishing, that's one of the things you do. So how did you get into that?
A publicist work?
Yeah.
Kind of backed into it, kind of by accident. There was a podcast back before. This my current podcast is called Traversing the Stars podcast. Before this, there was a podcast called I'm not going to go into the name of the podcast, but it was one before this one, and I did their public relations. In other words, I brought in the guest for their show. Okay. So I was the guy who would reach out to publicists, be like, hey, can I interview so and so, or can we interview so and so? And someone from the show had basically thought, if you can get guests, you probably can get us on things. You know what I'm saying? If you can get people on the show, you probably can promote us onto other shows. And I did it. I did it successfully, and then it kind of grew as people kind of talked about me, and I went from just doing like little things for people who I knew to basically kind of getting pretty much in demand now. I don't ever promote myself, but every month, certain X number of people contact me and go, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And I'm like, "All right," and I do it. But yeah, it's kind of backed my way into it.
Has that helped you out as a writer yourself with your own books?
I mean, I always obviously I promote my own book, get on podcasts, stuff like that. I will say I'm a far worse promoter of myself than I am of other people.
Oh man.
It's the way I just don't have the time really to be good at promoting myself. So I usually recommend if you're going to be do a Kickstarter, you want to be on maybe like 20, 25 shows, maybe more. I probably do like 10 myself, which is way below what I advise, but I only have so much time in my day from work and podcasting and publicist work and all the other stuff. But it's a living, and I will say promoting your book. I think promoting my book is even harder because I get so self-aware about my own promotions of myself. Like promoting other people, I can do all day long. Promoting myself feels I get very self-aware of it. I'm just like, that feels weird, like pushing myself.
Mhm. Okay. You suggest 25 shows. Knowing about Kickstarter, most people do about 30 days. So that's a show every day. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, well, of course you do see the benefit of it. But let's say you don't see the benefit of it. What do you see the benefit of doing all these shows, like for the creator, I guess?
Like I said, the more shows you can do, the better. Like I said, I like 20, 25, maybe 30. Because you not only do them all during the life of your Kickstarter. About a week before your Kickstarter launches, you should be doing shows regularly to get your name out there, to get the followers attached. Okay. The couple of things that you're doing with the podcast is that you're getting your face and your name and your title out there. Okay, people will know it. They may not back it from your show. There's no guarantee that I'm being on your show will get someone who watches your show to get my comic book directly, right? No guarantee. But if they're on if your listeners go onto Kickstarter, though, there's a better chance that they'll recognize my book, or they'll think they know it from somewhere. They don't remember necessarily where they found it, but it's in their head that they recognize the title, they recognize the name, and that being familiar with the name and the title is a subconscious thing where they'll go, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that book, or I heard of that writer. Oh, let's check out that guy's book." Right, and they may not remember they got it from podcast. They watching your show that they I was watching watching the show and there I am. But somewhere in their back of their minds, it's going to operate when they do go to Kickstarter, and hopefully you'll become more familiar, and they just kind of feel like you're something bigger than you are because they recognize the name and the title. So you're kind of hoping for the more you do, the more you become kind of like part of that subconscious mind of, I know that book, I know that author, he must be someone better known because I recognize it, and that's where the podcasts come in. That's what you guys do for us.
Right. So so the idea, the more impressions you got, the more they they see. Yeah. Okay.
Right. I mean, like I said, there's no guarantee any podcast. Anyone who says they go on a podcast and go, I went on, you just released a podcast, an episode. Why didn't someone not buy my book from it? Well, you don't know if it came from that or not, but the chances are it worked somewhere. It did something for you because it gave you that, made it familiar. But yeah, there's no guarantee there'll ever be a direct correspondence between the podcast and the purchase, but there may be between the podcast recognizing it and eventually the purchase, which is kind of what you're building into.
Okay. A lot of creators, I don't interview. Some of them don't have a secondary thing. So like, let's say they don't watch my show every time it comes out. They watch it, a week or two later. In your case, your Kickstarter to be over. A lot of guests don't have a website to purchase that book because they might like this. Oh man, a book about sentient beings all killing each other. I want to read that. Right. They go to the link, and it is dead link because it's over. And they're like, oh man, they never had no website to go get the book or in alternate things. Then most creators wait a whole year later to do another Kickstarter, and they don't forget about it. So I think that's a definitely next step that a lot of creators do. They don't have something else.
The website is a good idea. It is expensive. Obviously, there's an expense to it. Unfortunately, some writers like me, we're kind of like broke ass writers, and we're just hanging in there the best we can. I'm a teacher, so I'm on teacher salary, so it's only so much I can afford between the Kickstarter and the podcast and things of that nature. But no, website is a great idea. It'd be great if I had one, but no, unfortunately, I'm a broke ass teacher.
Hey, it's understandable. It's understandable. Speaking of podcasts, so you writing, you doing Publishers Word ain't a podcast. So
Yes.
you did one podcast, now you do your own podcast. So what made you start podcasting?
Once again, long story. Basically, I kind of just
You good?
okay. So basically, all things being equal, I got connected to a comic book convention back in the day. No, sorry, going back even further. I wanted to be deeper into the industry, understand it better. So there was a website back in the day called Project Fanboy. Project Fanboy was I would write articles for them about the issues in the world comic book industry, and they were well researched. And I started contacting comic book people, be like, hey, would you like to comment on this or that or the other thing? And they would, and I enjoyed it. Then I did some comic book convention. They wanted me to write articles for their website with interviews with people, which I enjoyed, and I also helped book their guests for their show. And then I was like, well, I'm good at these interviews. I've been doing them for the convention. I did them for the website. So I bumped into these other guys, and they're like, hey, you have a show. That's cool. And I said, yeah, can I be on your show? And I was. I was like, hey, what if I could get you bigger guests? How do you feel about that? And they're like, well, if you can, do it. So like within the first week, I got like Eric Larson on the show, and then I started getting like bigger comic book people, and then it just kind of expanded. I started getting like guys like Thomas Jane and Ed Asner and a bunch of other people. And after doing that for I think it was 3 years, maybe, I decided I want to do my own thing, because if I'm gonna book the guests and do the interviews and promote, might as well do it to my own damn show. Why am I doing it for somebody else? Right? I might as well do it for myself. So I decided to go on my own and create Traversing the Stars podcast, which is now about 2.5 years in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I start like first season of my show. I guess I took whoever I could. I think the biggest guest I probably had was I can't think of his name, man. Bigfoot, not Bigfoot knows karate.
Oh, Dan Price?
No, the hell he drew for Hellboy.
Mike Mignola?
Yeah, I think it's him. He had a Bigfoot book. Oh man, that's his current book. His first time going independent. Can't think. But him and I believe Austin St. John was from my biggest guest last season. So
yeah, very cool.
Yeah, but this season I've been trying to get bigger guests, and it's been crazy getting them guests. I can say, but I learned it's a thing called a Marvel block, and I think I got hit by that a couple times.
A Marvel block? What do you mean?
Because they pre-scanned the where they had the interviews, and if you don't have that certain range, they don't allow the artist or writer to do the thing.
I've seen something similar. I've gotten around it a handful of times. The best way to do it is contact the artist first, get their interest. Then you contact them and say, "Hey, this guy wants to do it. I just need your permission." They'll just say yes at that point. I've never had anyone deny me after the artist says they want to do it. The issue is, as long as it doesn't take any work on their part, I'm more than happy to do it. So, like, I had Karen Gillan on my show some months back, and I was like, "Hey, you're interested?" He's like, "Yeah, but you need Marvel's okay." So I messaged Marvel like, "Hey, this guy Karen Gillan wants to do the show. Are you in? I just need your okay." They're like, "Yeah, go ahead." And so you just go ahead and do it at that point. But to get them to connect me with an artist is obviously much more difficult.
Like I think it's been a lot easier to get writers on the show versus artists. Artists, they always say they busy and stuff because I guess the workload is pretty heavy.
Yeah, but I must say, I don't really know what to say. I never know what to say to an artist. I always know what to say to the writer. I never quite know what to say to the artist.
Okay. But I got some now. I got Larry Struman. He was on my show with the Tribe Comics. Anthony Piper. Not released anybody else. I think the only two I released. I got some. I got a whole bunch. I just got saved. But I got a pretty good selection. I got one that I'm trying to get. There's always a little thing stopping us. Timing issue, but he might be one of the biggest ones, and I'm working on one more. But it's been strange. I've been trying to do it the same way. You know, I used to be a DJ. I used to do it the same way to get artists to host mixtape for me. So I'm trying to do the same method that way.
Yeah, it can be tricky. Like I said, I will also say I will send out maybe 70, 80 emails a month, and maybe I'll get 12 of them to say yes. That's kind of the percentages I work in. And, it's like baseball. You bat 300. You fail 70% of the time, but you're a Hall of Famer because you bat 300. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
And I probably get denied 70 to 80% of the time. But the ones that come on, are exciting. I mean, I just had on Robert Wall from Batman '89. He played Alexander Knox. He was cool.
Okay.
I mean, I got on just recently Julian Richings from Supernatural, Death. The guy who played Death in Supernatural. So every so often you get that good one that makes all the no's worth it.
Yeah. The crazy one that I just got an email from. I for sure thought he's gonna come on my show, just guaranteed, like whatever. I was like, I got his friend be on my show, so he's gonna come on my show too. Easy. I don't know if it's him emailing me or his secretary or whatever. They said we can't do the show unless you have 300 listener range. 300,000 listener range. I was like, what?
300,000?
I was like, I don't want to say because it might come on my show later on, but I was like, well, if I had that kind of range, you'd be asking me to be on my show. I would be asking you to be on my.
Well, there's this one guy, an actor that I asked to come on the show, and I'm gonna say his name. I don't give a shit. He's never gonna come on my show. I don't know are you a fan of Star Trek at all?
A little bit.
All right. Well, there's a show called Star Trek Voyager, and the first officer, Chakotay, was played by Robert Beltran. That guy he said he'd do the show, but for $10,000. Like, if I could afford $10,000 to have you on my show, I wouldn't need you on my damn show.
Yeah.
I mean, way too big to have you on my show at this point. Yeah, $10,000 for a 20-minute interview. Like, Jesus, I wish I was making that kind of money.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get that high, but I got hit with 500.
500?
Yeah, I was like, I might as well pay you for artwork at that point.
I've been hit with 500. I once paid a guest to come on my show one time, and it wasn't 500, but it was below that. But I figured, screw it, I wanted the guy on my show enough. It was low enough for price. But yeah, no, I've been hit by 1,000 a few times. The 10,000 was a bit of a shock. But yeah, I've been hit with $1,000, $2,000, $500 a few times as well. It's like, yeah, I don't know how much money they think I'm making on a podcast, but if I was making that kind of money, I wouldn't need you.
Yeah, see, I interview music artists as well, and I recently learned that podcasts are paying music artists like actually show money to come on their podcast. Like, what podcast make enough money to pay artists show money to be on there? But I guess like the Cox and the Twitch people are of course doing that. So I guess it'd be some streamers that are getting that Twitch money.
Yeah.
That are doing it, and just
I'll say I know a lot of podcasters. Some that are bigger than I am. Most will tell you this: don't ever pay.
Yeah, I thought about paying a couple times. I was like, it's not worth it because I'm not even making enough to even do that myself. Like,
yeah. I mean, like I said, I paid an artist one time because I wanted him on the show. It wasn't a lot; it was like $250. I'm not gonna say who it was. $250, and I was kind of like, all right, just do it for this one guest. For the most part, no, I don't want to pay, and we shouldn't. I mean, it's a question of power dynamics. Who owes who, right? Does the guest owe us for us promoting them, or do we owe them for promoting us? That's the question. I'm of the mind, for the most, with some exceptions, that the guest owes us because we're putting in the work to do the promoting for them, right? They come on our show 20, 30 minutes, and we do the promotion for them. We help them push their thing. Within reason. I mean, obviously, it is a push and pull. Like Jason Momoa, he obviously has a lot more followers than I do, right? I mean, he'd be doing me the favor by having him coming on my show, and sometimes that's the case. But for the most part, it's wiser not to pay. I'm not sure how many views are worth $500. but I'm sure there is going to be more views than we probably will get with that guest. 500.
Yeah.
At least I don't know what $500 worth of views looks like. Like how many?
I think you got to be cracking like 100,000.
You think 100,000 views is worth $500?
No, I mean I think for YouTube to pay that, I think you got to be like
No.
100,000.
For you as a host to pay $500 for a guest. How many views would that guest have to bring in to be worth that $500? Is my question.
I don't know, because I see that same way as a feature on the song. So like, yeah, I might pay you that money, but are you gonna promote it? Are you even gonna tell your fans about it? Yeah, so like that's how I see it. Like, so I get you on the show, but are you even gonna post it on your page or even say anything about it?
Right, that's another point. I mean, there's how much is $500 worth? How many views is worth $500? Like I said, I'm not sure what that number would be, but I can't imagine it's a low number. I mean, I don't know, 20,000 views for that one video, maybe 15,000 views for that one video, maybe, who knows? But at the point where you're selling views per dollar, you're probably going to end up folding, because I don't think that's a sustainable way to run a podcast at this point.
Okay. Last little bit of segment. What is your other titles and what are they about? That you have done.
Other titles? One of my comic books is called Malik Reigning Devil. It's about an angel that is sent to kill the devil by God. But he's not told the complete story. The idea, what you realize is a couple of things. First, to go to hell, you must commit a sin, which the character Malik, who's the angel, does to go to hell so he can kill the devil. The problem is, once you go to hell, you can never go back to heaven. So he is forever damned by the act that his God told him to do. Okay? The other thing is, once you kill the devil, you got to become the devil, as the story goes. That I wrote. So he finds himself ruling in hell, which even in the best sense, it's not anywhere what paradise is. When you really, I mean, to go, is it better to serve in heaven than to rule in hell? I would say heaven, by definition, is just better because it's heaven. It's supposed to be perfect. So he decides that after he kills the devil and realizes he was tricked on some level, he's going to launch a revolt and rebel against God and go after God. And the 6 issues, there's 2 issues of him in hell. There's an issue of him in purgatory. There's 2 issues of him in heaven, and there's going to be an issue epilogue. But it's him rebelling against the God that he felt unfairly sentenced him to live in hell for his own reason.
All right. How many issues of that you have?
There's 2 out right now. A third is halfway done, and eventually make it to 6 issues.
Okay. Man, that sounds dope. So you got ongoing stories going on. You don't have any complete works yet?
I have Santa Claus is a kids horror comic about that kind of plays with the idea of Santa Claus, Santa, and Satan being pretty similar. Santa
Copernicus?
Huh?
Copernicus?
Santa and Satan.
I know Copernicus.
I don't know. What do you mean?
Campus? Am I saying it right? Copernicus? Campus? It's like a Santa Claus, but he like.
Oh, Krampus. Krampus.
Yeah.
Right. So the way the idea goes is that Santa Claus runs on belief. The more you believe in Santa, the more powerful Santa becomes. And but Santa is evil, and he kidnaps children and turns them into his elves. Once they believe in him enough, they get turned, or wish enough, they turn into his elves. So it's a kids horror comic. It's only 2 issues, but they're both complete and they're both out. Nightmare Patrol is 4 issues long. That's a team of monsters that are brought together by the government to go kill a villain. That's 4 issues long, and that's all complete. All 4 issues are done. So I do have completed titles as well.
Okay. All right. And just give us another pitch of your Kickstarter going on right now.
All right, Mike. Right now I have The End of All Terminus, number 2. It's a fun, exciting sci-fi for lovers of Star Trek and aliens. The tiers start at $2. You can buy a PDF at $2. You can buy issues 1 and 2 PDF for $4. You can buy a physical copy for $9 with shipping attached. And you can buy both issues, I believe, for like $14, $13, $14. You can buy both 1 and 2 physical copies. You can buy all 6 variants for $32. So these are all pretty cheap tiers. And yeah, you're going to help something. If you care about indie comic books and you want something that's unique, a voice that's in a story that's not just your TNA comic books that are all over the place in Kickstarter, my book would be a good one to consider.
Okay. All right, and that's all I got. What where can they follow you at if they listen to this after your Kickstarter end to find out more of your works and purchase some of your books?
You can find me on Twitter under J Haas Interviews. You can find me on Twitter under Traversing the Stars. You can find me on Instagram under Vector_Comics. You can find me on Instagram under Traversing the Stars. You can find me on TikTok under Traversing the Stars. You can find me on Facebook, Traversing the Stars, and Terminus, and my name. And you can find me whoring myself on every other social media platform that's out there, including Reddit and Blue Sky and every other social media platform. I'm on them all.
Okay. All right, man. Thanks for coming on, man. We're looking forward to your other projects, and this Kickstarter right now.
Thank you so much.